everyone. My name is Ismael Santiago, Ambassador for Dad's Doing It, and we're coming to you from Famous Barbershop in Lunenburg, Massachusetts. And we're here to record a special edition of Dad's Doing It. We're going to talk a little bit about the Charli Kirk situation.
Yes, love it. Charli Kirk.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Charli Kirk situation. Before we get started, I'm going to let the dads introduce themselves. Go ahead, Larry.
What's up, everybody? It's Larry, owner of Famous Barbershop, father of 2 kids, here with y'all.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Cedric Robinson. Not a dad, just someone that works with kids. I also do photography and videography.
And I'm not going to say my name again, but I work in retail management. I'm a father of 6 and a grandfather of 1. So you guys brought up this show, wanted to talk about Charli Kirk, what's going on, and unfortunately he passed away because he got shot by a sniper of some sort. But go ahead, take it away.
No, so basically, right, me and my nephew was having a conversation, and what was you asking?
My claim was, so my stance is I'm right-leaning. Like my uncle will say, he's non-political, but I'm right-leaning, meaning I kind of agree with both sides, but as of right here, right now, I am more towards the conservative side. So like I do have faith and opinions about gun laws, abortion, border control, just overall safety for America. But where our debate came over the phone was it more racial, more of a race gimmick running the Charli Kirk story, while the North Carolina woman that was stabbed and murdered on the train, race baited almost in a sense. And I felt like Charli Kirk was more of a race story to push than the woman on the train was, because she was just a white woman killed by a black man, and Charli Kirk was more divisive. He was more political, and he kind of had the bigger story to run because he was so controversial. And then that's where we kind of disagreed, and you felt like it was a money thing.
So let's bring it back for the millions of Americans like myself who don't know who this guy is. Who is Charli Kirk? Can somebody? Because I only seen a handful of videos.
So
right?
I follow Charli Kirk on Facebook, and I follow a couple of his other things. But from what I understand, he's just the guy that has his political views and his I'll call it ideologies of what he believes would make America a safer and greater place for everyone. I never felt that, based off of what I saw, I never felt that he was a racist or had hate for any ethnicities or anything, because a lot of what he said, he was looking at facts and statistics. Now, do we agree with all those facts and statistics? Probably not. There's probably some questions in there, and I don't agree with everything Charli Kirk used to speak about, but I understand where he was coming from as someone that lives in America. So I could, I could agree with him, and then I could also agree to disagree with him on the topics I may have not agreed with him. But he seemed like he was, a very successful podcaster, from my opinion. He had, I believe it's called Turning Point USA show. He was always traveling, debating with college students at different college campuses. And to me, it just seemed like a very healthy debate between, Charli Kirk and whomever waited in line to speak with him. And I actually liked what he was doing, because it just kind of gave everybody an opportunity to be able to speak their opinions.
So I guess I have like just a general question, just so we're all on the same page. is it ever okay to champion somebody's murder or death?
Never.
Never. I actually think the fact that it was recorded and most likely caught live on video. Now that's on the internet. It's being, it's kind of like they're making a martyr out of him right now. And then, but that's going to be on the internet for his kids to see when they grow older. His wife will have to see it. And honestly, I found out the day that he was shot. I found out after work, and literally within seconds of when I found out, I saw the video on Facebook, and I was shocked when I saw it. And honestly, it did something to me. Like it gave me a negative feeling throughout my body when I seen it, where immediately as soon as I saw the shot, I like swiped my page and it went away, and I was just like in shock, like wow.
You couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I kind of got the same feeling, like, so like I was leaving a location, and by the time I got to my next destination, I kind of pulled up in the driveway of the barbershop here, and I realized that like the level of severity, like the situation may have been just because of the video, very graphic video. If you're squeamish, I advise you not to go watch the video, and I'm sure many of you guys have, but I kind of sat down and prayed for everyone involved. Like,
yeah.
And again, I'm a believer in Christian faith. I even prayed for the shooter just because it was like just a sick thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I know he had to be really hurt and broken.
Yeah.
So which was very unfortunate. And I kind of came in here in shock and disbelief, and I showed my uncle what was going on, and just the day went past by, and so to kind of like fast forward to where me and my uncle, he believed the government did it.
The government did it. They did it. They set it up. And people just don't go shooting people for no reason.
I think we get a lot of senseless shootings, but I don't think it's ever the gun's fault, right?
Yeah.
So like, I have my license to carry. I'm a responsible firearm owner. My guns never walk up off my hip or out my lockbox or safe, and ever commit any crimes. So I don't ever think it's like the gun's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Like I give like a scenario to some people was like I put on the desk, the table, a pen. I'm like, make that pen right without touching it, and the person couldn't do it. I felt like the same way with firearms. It's like, you know what I mean? You have to be responsible with that utensil that you're given permission to by state, by government to use. So like, the only reason why I can possibly not rule out the government doing it, just because I know, in my opinion, how far left the side of the party can get.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime they're hurting back in the corner, they're kind of like that battered dog, you know what I mean, that snaps at anyone and everyone around them when they're backed into a corner. And I felt like that's kind of where they felt like with people like our president, Charli Kirk, Candace Owens, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. I don't know if you want to chime in about your government take, but I don't know what to think about it at this point. I don't think it was a random act of violence. One day he just woke up and felt like doing it. I definitely think it was like methodic and planned out.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and go deep in depth about my conspiracy theories, you know. But back to our argument or our discussion, we were talking about why Charli Kirk is getting so much publicity with his death. and kind of they just swept the Ukrainian girl who got
I'm
killed
looking
on
for
the
her name
bus.
so I can.
They just swept that under the rug. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I was just explaining to my nephew that Charli Kirk is more of a celebrity.
Correct.
You got two average Joes, no disrespect to anyone.
I might butcher her name. It's Irina, something like that.
I'm not gonna try, but you got two average people on a bus.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? One average person gets killed, and in the same week, somebody with millions of followers gets killed, gunned down, almost live on air.
2 or 3
You know
days
what I
later.
mean?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think that he's just getting so much run right now because he's a celebrity. And like I was telling my nephew, the media people, they're just worried about the dollars.
Mhm.
How much dollars can we make off of this? The girl that got killed in the media's, I'm speaking in the media's point of view. The girl that got killed is a good story and is going to give us a good run for a little bit, and then wham, this happened.
Yeah.
That's
Don't you think George Floyd was a random character in the media story?
To me, but in the same week that George Floyd got killed, what celebrity, any celebrity, that's all I'm saying is just the, because I remember I kept saying, his status, but he's just more of a prominent figure. He has millions of,
Which I don't
he
disagree
has
with.
millions of followers, so that's just gonna create millions of more revenue for whatever media.
But this
outlet
is
that-
why I think it's a race play though. Like I think it's more of a race play of pushing that story is because Irina, I'm sorry if, for the people that do get offended for my mispronunciation, she was slain because media is controlled by a higher authority in America, and I think for sure, I know firsthand for sure that it's very democratic leaning. So they're going to push the stories that they want to push out. If I'm out here producing a product and I'm living by this product and it fails, I don't want to sit there and push like that story anymore. So I feel like with that in North Carolina, it's kind of going against everything that I preach and believe in. You know what I mean? Like black men are always being accused for these things. How come the black man's just never a father, or he's just never just somebody's son? He has to be more than that. In this case, 14 prior cases and not felony charges, but criminal charges. Is like, this is not a safe person that should be letting off in the street. You know what I mean? Clearly, you know what I mean. He wasn't safe or in the right mind.
And are you speaking of the gentleman that did the stabbing on the bus?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm talking about the North Carolina case. So like, I felt like it goes everything against what BLM stands for, what CNN stands for, The View stands for. It goes against all their principles because it's not getting covered intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as a conservative man is shot down in the street, they're like, oh yeah, it's a field day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it money based? Yes, but I also think it's more of a race thing because it sets more divide in the race culture. It's not.
I just don't see how that divides, how that racially. That's where we hung up at too. Is how does that racially divide? A white guy killed a white guy in white America.
Yes.
How does that racially divide in anybody but
So
maybe the whites?
If I could chime in, I don't really see it as a race thing. If we're talking one story overpowering the other, I look at that as a ratings thing, because and I think you were alluding to this earlier, or Larry might have been. You know, they had this story which they ran with for a few days, but then to Larry's point, a more powerful, prominent figure came about and got murdered, unfortunately, in front of viewers and a live audience and everything. That, you know, that's a ratings grab. Not only was that a ratings grab for news medias. You know, one, we're sitting here talking about it today, but you know, conspiracy theorists started making shows and little speculations and videos that I saw many of. And you just keep finding things. So it's not only social media, but also the news companies, and you know what they control, and they're spreading that. And in some cases, I think, you know, it's about control. To me, I think that, like, how can we control the masses? You know, is the story, unfortunately, that happened involving the Ukrainian young lady. You know, they utilize these stories to do some sort of fear mongering, in my opinion.
I don't think it was ever pushed. That was the issue, in my opinion.
Well, it got overshadowed. It never really got its opportunity to push, and then literally within I don't know, hours of Charli Kirk's situation, because he's a more prominent figure, there's videos about it. It's being shared. Everyone is talking about it. Not only that, you even see some people that are very untasteful, you know, making shirts and it's like this. Yeah, there was somebody showing a shirt, and unfortunately, it was like, what do you call that? Asylum or a profile? It was just the shadow of Charli Kirk, and literally the caption on the shirt was "Protect your neck." Terrible. People are trying to, you know, monopolize on this, and it was an unfortunate event, and this is the society we live in. Unfortunately, people are trying to capitalize on what happened.
The only reason why I say and bring race into this is because, again, I don't know what your guys' feeds look like. It's like, I have a bunch of like political stuff, and then I have a bunch of political figures and activists and just friends. They're almost like, the first thing is, how can you not basically, how could you feel bad about this because he was racist?
I mean,
do you think he was racist?
Me, no.
Okay.
I don't ever get that feeling from.
I don't.
So
again,
the question is, how can you feel bad if he was racist?
Yeah. No, if he is racist, that's what they're saying. They're proclaiming that's a fact, and that's what they're standing on.
Yeah.
He's racist, so therefore he should not be. There should be no empathy for his mother.
Yeah, I don't agree with that statement. We're all people, and I'll let you talk in a second, Larry. But you know, when that happened, he's somebody I follow, and I mentioned it to some people that I usually get into like little debates with or talk to about things, and I mentioned it to him, and then somebody's opinion was, well, he knows what he talks about. He should have taken more measures to protect himself. Should he have to? You know, I understand that idea where it's like, yeah, if I'm very popular, I should protect myself, but should we have to? We live in a society, unfortunately, that does things or takes matters into their own hands, and they think violence is the answer. But I don't, whether he was a racist or not, and I don't think he was either. I watch a lot of his videos, and I think what some people do when they try to say he was a racist, they take a small clip of one of his videos and they try to portray that as racism, which if you actually have the whole clip and are able to listen to him speak, it's really not racist at all. And it really sounds like he wants to, you know, promote a better life for everybody, you know, across the nation.
He kind of pushes like a get up and get after attitude.
Correct.
No matter who you are.
Yes.
No matter if you have one leg, yellow skin, white skin, black skin. So
Yeah.
that's what I get from him anytime I watch it. I don't ever think like, oh, he's condemning me because I'm black.
No.
And I have to feel some type of way. I never get that from him.
Yeah.
The same way I don't get that off of Trump. I don't get that off of many of people. Now, do I think there's like closeted racism in America? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But I've only witnessed it in, well, I like to call the blue states, which are the Democratic ran states. So like being in Massachusetts for so long, like I've experienced people, you know what I mean? That they said, Cedric, you go handle it. You go handle it, and behind my back, he's like, yeah, we're gonna let Cedric handle it because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I know
he
he's
speaks. He speaks hood.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck does speaking hood mean? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Do I have like a slang maybe? But you know what I mean. At the end of the day, I'm just a man running a part of your business to try to help it grow, and you're just using me as a pawn in the greater scheme because you don't want to deal with people of color.
Yeah.
So it's like I felt that, and I'm not ignorant to that fact that there is racism out there, or closeted racism, or all that hot stuff. But never have I ever watched any of his videos and just felt like, oh, he's targeting me, and I'm offended by it. You know what I mean? Like, sure, like some of his content, like I've subscribed to the Daily Wire. I've subscribed to his podcast. So it's like I hear this every day what he talks about, and I can honestly say, like, I don't agree with everything that he talks about. You know what I mean? I'm not a yes man. Like, if I don't like something, I'm like, no, you know what? I don't like that. Take her opinion. You know what I mean? But that's my opinion. I don't ever sit there and feel like, no, I'm gonna take somebody out for that. God forbid, like anyone puts that on their mind. But like, never in 100 years in my lifetime I would ever see somebody take the street like it's a Celtics parade. You know what I mean? And like be excited for it. Like just today there was a video uploaded and posted. 19-year-old kid from the school that didn't agree with him was out here football punting all his candles and posters, his memorial, right where he was shot in Arizona, excuse me. And you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know what I mean, people took offense to it. He was tuned up from the person who got dragged off the sidewalk, and police took it in their hands because it is vandalism. It's like,
I don't understand people disrespecting the dead. I never liked it in rap, you know what I'm saying? All the rappers doing that, the quote unquote YNs, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I guess old school for that. You don't disrespect the dead, don't talk about the dead, leave them alone, let them rest. Again, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I never really watched none of his videos. The only thing I've seen ever about him is probably 3 shorts. You know what I'm saying? And I must have seen the shorts that y'all don't agree with.
It all depends on your algorithm.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? One of them decent in the group.
Yeah.
In the group. I didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean? I think some of the stuff when you follow, you know, the somewhat history of the Black Americans, you can see that. I see it like almost like a chess game. You know what I mean? This move that we're gonna do today is gonna affect them years to come. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that one clip about them, they're not being fathers in the homes, and black guys just like making babies and leaving them, like, what do you mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other factors that play, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not just a guy that just makes them and leaves them. It's always some sort of issue, you know what I'm saying?
On the flip side of that, though, I've seen a lot of videos where he talks about, you know, the government, how they got their hands in the cookie jar a little bit too much, getting involved with families and pretty much promoting single mother household because it's incentivized. All the programs incentivize that, and he speaks on that as well. And a lot of times when he's talking about something like that, and that's what he's talking about as well. I've seen him talking to a black woman with a baby and talking about how that baby deserves a father, and specifically he was stating that, you know, that she gets incentivized for the father not to be in the home. And the lady was agreeing with him. And I'm not sure if she was agreeing with him because she takes up those benefits, I'm not sure, but she was agreeing with him that in society, and I'm sure it doesn't really matter what ethnicity you are, it is incentivized to get fathers out of the home.
But this is my thing, okay? Are those same incentives or whatever in Beverly Hills? See what I'm saying?
I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the
Beverly
other
Hills
day.
is a
Hold
different
on.
demographic.
No, hold on. Is there a welfare office over there?
So I guess it depends on what, I would say, my guess would be the state of California, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that's where Beverly Hills is?
Yeah.
The state of California probably offers welfare.
Oh, more than welfare.
But the folks living in Beverly Hills may not need to take advantage of it as much as, you know, maybe some
But
folks in another.
California in general is probably one of the worst states to live in right now anyways, statistically, right? From raising families, taxes, wages of living, wages
That was
of
just an
making.
example. But just
But
like with abortion
Compton,
clinics,
you know what I
abortion
mean?
clinics are more in
Urban cities.
Yeah.
urban cities. What are urban cities? Mostly black populated neighborhoods. So, you know what I mean? You gotta look at all of that stuff before we can start saying black guys just make babies and leave them,
I mean,
or whatever the
the
case
easiest
may have.
answer, because again, I am pro-life, the easiest answer is to, right, to get those businesses out of those cities is to either A, be abstinent,
Abstinent.
or B, like have your children. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of giving the excuse for people to, like, we can agree sex is a mature thing, right? You just don't have sex as kids. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not sitting there condemning anyone or any of the followers that has sex when they were underage, but it's like you
He's
should
been baptized and now he brand new.
nah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, I had a sex at an unreasonable age, right? I was 14 years old.
Oh, we don't want to hear about
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
No, if we want to be black and white,
We don't want to hear.
I was baptized and I
We don't wanna hear
I
about
promote it.
What
And
kids was doing.
anyone that wants to, you know what I mean, change their life for the better, go ahead. But what I'm saying is, I was a young child making those decisions. You know what I mean? Acting like I was an adult. It's not an adult move. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the product of underage consensual sexual intercourse. So it's like, are we like taking the necessary precautions of teaching kids those stuff, like practicing safe sex or is it too taboo to talk about in high schools now? You know what I mean? Or
I don't think
They're
that's too
talking
taboo
about,
to
they're
talk
talking
about
about
in
that
high
in
school.
middle school.
Yeah,
Or elementary or something.
I'll say my kids work at Mock. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but my kids work at Mock, right there on Daniel Street in corner of Daniels and Fairmont, and they work there. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Yeah.
My kids work there, and I want to say my daughter has been there for a while, and she has a permanent position there. But in her high school years, she was like an advocate for talking to kids about safe sex. But real quick, guys, I just wanted to point out, because we started bringing up like abortion clinics and that stuff. I know, like, just to stay on the topic of Charli Kirk, I know him personally. He was very against abortion. He thought that the baby's life should be saved and be delivered. So he wasn't for the abortions or anything.
I mean, that abortion thing is a slippery slope, you know what I'm saying? Because you got people, what about the rape victims, or, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I don't know. It's just.
But he also brings up those facts too. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think he was saying, like, if I remember correctly, like, it's around, and you guys can fact check me after the fact, but it's something around like less than like 2% of cases are rape cases where the mothers are having abortions.
Yeah.
The
Or
majority.
where somebody admitted to it, 'cause
Yeah,
maybe not
absolutely.
everybody's gonna admit to it.
So
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's where the information's a little skewed, because
Yeah.
you don't know what somebody is admitting or being
Yeah.
honest about. And
Do we think it's like, all right, we're gonna just take 100 cases and just put it out there as that, or it's just like, as, you know what I mean? Like, at what point are we gonna sit there and say like, oh well, this 1% is really 35%, or if it's 1% or it's 1.5% to it's just 2.1%.
So are you saying, just for my own clarification, let's say there's 1 million cases of abortion, for example, but are you saying they'll take only 1,000 to figure out?
I'm not saying that. I think what they're doing is they're taking the data throughout, say, the month of July. It's like, all right, how many cases have you? You know what I mean? How many kids have you aborted?
And that's when the statistics.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a national number. I don't think it's like, all right, let's just like round off because last year it was this, and you know what I mean? I think that number is pretty close to accurate, right? I don't think any number or statistic is 99%, but I think it is very close to the numbers that they are providing us. So if it's like give or take, if we're giver and taking numbers, I think that's also misleading information if we're gonna sit there and say like how many people are actually going to admit to it. I don't think many people are going to admit to it, but I think a lot do admit to it. You know what I mean? Like,
but if not everybody is admitting to being raped and having an abortion.
But I don't think that number jumps from 1.5, let's say it was, to 10% of the cases. I don't think that number is that skewed like that.
You don't know. I wouldn't like say that it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, that's just a very touchy thing for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
So guys, let me ask this question. You know, just to keep it on you know, as fathers, and then obviously said you share your experience working with kids. How do we talk about this? How do we explain this stuff? You know, what happened to Charli Kirk and some of the stuff he stood for, or some of the what was going on with all the videos now, on top of the videos that he's already had on the internet, but now the new videos coming out that people are making and you know, pretty much putting judgment on him or speaking in his favor, that it can get very confusing for kids. Obviously we're grown, we're gonna come up with our own opinions, but for kids, how do we communicate that for kids? For the kids that are maybe only seeing one side of the story, how do we have a conversation with our kids or kids in general?
I'm glad you brought that up. For me, I found out that my daughter was following the trend of what nephew called champion his death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I found that out, I was upset. You know what I'm saying? I was upset because that's not what we do. You know what I mean? We don't sit here and root somebody dying, somebody getting slain like that. Anybody. You know what I mean? So I had to sit down, maybe scold her a little bit so that she knows that I'm serious about that. You know what I mean? Not too much, but just a little bit, so she knows like, this temperature's a little bit hot. It's warmer than usual. And I just let her know that that's not what we do. You don't root nobody dying. You don't wish death on nobody. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what they do, especially for a guy that's just speaking his opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question?
I understand.
How did reading it make you feel? Like,
I didn't read it. It was told to me that that's what she was doing, and I just equally got as mad.
Did it kind of like I want to say like shock you? It's tough because like those are my cousins, so it's like I'm not trying to sit there and like
no. I got mad because that's not, you know what I mean, that I wouldn't want nobody to root, you know, the death of anybody I love or like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was kind of like her first experience of like
witnessing. Right, and we never had to have this conversation.
Yeah.
I never had to school her like, yo, you don't wish death on nobody. You know what I mean? So this was all the first, but I think I had to make it my point that, you know, you let the death rest in peace. You know what I mean? Whatever they did, if they didn't do nothing physically to you, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? She was telling me, so I said, why celebrate his death? Oh, because, you know, he was speaking, you know, bad or negative against transgenders and stuff, and I'm like, so you're not a transgender. You know what I'm saying? What difference does it make to you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I understand you have friends that may be transgender, but it still doesn't hit home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it made me go back into race, and you know, people been speaking bad on black people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're black. You should probably feel more something towards that
Mm-hmm.
than what's going on here. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just that one I didn't like that one.
Yeah.
I didn't like I don't like watching regular people do it. You know, it's off course, but the same subject a little bit. Like when 50 Cent says something about Irv Gotti when he died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that just
it's too far.
You know what I'm saying?
There's got to be some form of respectfulness. I agree 100%.
Right.
I know for me, so one of my daughters, she actually doesn't like Charlie Kirk, but and I went and told her, hey, you know, he died, and she's like, yeah, you know, and she thought it was crazy that somebody, you know, got shot for speaking their mind and what they believe, but she still doesn't like him. And to me, I felt like, you know what, that's a very
I think that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a sense of like,
It's respectable.
It's-
absolutely.
I think she's letting him, like, his death pass without her being heinous.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? But like, again, I probably way past the episode because I'm jumping on episode whatever this is. But like religion wise, like again, I'm Christian and I believe in, like, we should always promote love no matter what content is out there, what the person says or does, because it's like, it's really love thy neighbor in my opinion. You're right. I believe that to be fact, you know what I mean? So anyone that, again, I don't mean to offend everyone, but that's my truth.
But you're supposed to also love thy enemy like thy neighbor,
Yeah.
like thyself, actually.
And you're supposed to treat them almost better than,
which is hard.
you know what I mean? Treat better than you. And that's a big thing of, I think what America does need is like again, Bible sales have skyrocketed since 2025, right? Beginning of the year, which is a beautiful thing. But I think people need to start like reading that more to actually to accept God's gifts. You know what I'm saying? The only way you can do that is to lead with love and never hate. So like seeing people that call themselves Christians, right? Like spew so much hate about, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this is not anywhere in your book. You know what I mean? Like if he was rejecting Jesus Christ and rejecting God and let God deal with him.
And by he, you mean Charlie Kirk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like let God deal with Charlie Kirk his own way. You know what I mean? We should never sit there, whether it's a crackhead, Charlie Kirk, President Trump, Joe Biden, whoever. You know what I mean? We should never spew that much hate like the way he's getting hated.
Yeah.
Or even like a lot of the people on the right side get hated. Like, have I ever made jokes about Joe Biden sleeping and tripping and falling? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna throw jokes. That's why when Trump did it, everyone was making fun of him. I'm like, man, you got me. You know what I mean? Like, you got me. You know what I mean? He tripped and fell off the stage just like Joe did. So I get that, but I would never. What I would tell people is like to subtract all that, and like they gotta realize like that's still somebody's father,
Absolutely.
somebody's son, somebody's husband. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you witnessed a guy die, but they witnessed their loved one. You know what I mean? Be snatched up out of like off this earth too early. You know what I mean? So it's like he's only 31, and I put myself in my shoes because I'm 31, and I'm like God forbid, but if anyone took any of my words, you know what I mean, like to heart, like I should have been up off. You know what I mean?
But also, it got me thinking. You know, we sitting here talking about his loved ones and his kids and his parents, but we also got to take into consideration the people who actually think that he's a racist? Why do you think that? You know what I mean?
I think they're seeing those clips that
The
you
people,
Yeah.
the people who, the transgendered who may be offended by, you know what I'm saying? You gotta take also their feelings into account as well, because
So, yeah,
to
yes.
them,
Can I ask a question before we go on?
that's a hate speech.
Are we allowed to speak freely, or like, is there like a leash on this freedom of speech that we have on this podcast, or?
I mean, hopefully nobody is going to be.
No, I'm not worried about the outside perception, but like what you guys do, like, so like, I'm not gonna cuss because that's just on me.
We try not to,
Yeah,
but
we try not to.
we
It
have
slips out sometimes.
We
How
have
about opinions? Like
opinions,
Opinions,
man, who be letting them fly sometimes.
I'm not afraid of any opinions.
Yeah.
Listen, I think even the most controversial opinion, you know, and again, we could take Charlie Kirk for instance.
should be
You know,
spoke about.
he was very popular.
Yeah.
He was very loved. He was also very hated. And the one thing we got to accept is that we should be ready to speak about any topic and give our thoughts and opinions. And you know, some people might agree with us, some people aren't going to agree with us. But I think as adults, we should be able to agree to disagree and be able to have the conversation with folks and everything. And then one of the things that I know, like one of the things that I know Charlie. Did I say Charlie Baker earlier? I apologize if I did. Charlie Kirk. One of the things Charlie Kirk, I remember him saying is that, you know, when we stop talking, that's when violence happens.
Yeah.
And that really, that's like, you know, sat in my head like, yeah, he's got a point, because as long as we're communicating, talking, we don't have to agree. But that's when the violence happens. And then the other thing you said too, that you know, and again, and I couldn't agree with you more, other than I'm not a Christian, and I don't have that Christian faith. I do have my beliefs, but again, I 100% agree with there needs to be more love, and if there is more love, whether you know, you can't go wrong with love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's an emotion that we can't go wrong with, and loving someone and assuming, you know, that it's the healthy, right way. You know, you're not going to start any wars with somebody you love, and then you might have some sort of issues, but if you're my
like
man,
any
you're my man.
relationship, like, you know what I mean, like, there's gonna be disagreements. You know what I mean? There's gonna be maybe like confrontation. You know what I mean? But it should never go to blows, and you know what I mean. It should always be, you know what I mean, because you know what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna be afraid to say like you have a coal in your eye or like some boogies in your nose, because I have love for you guys, right? I'm not gonna sit there and mislead you guys and not say nothing and have you looking crazy out in public. I feel like that's how it should be done with anyone in the world, right? Like,
Yeah.
So like there was a young man I seen, and I spoke to him briefly. He had a little bit in his nose, and I was like, "Hey man, you got the hanger?" And he's like, "Oh, for real?" You know what I mean? Like, yo, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's how that should
So
go.
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like looking out for just everyone. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like it's always like love thy neighbor. Like, it takes a village. Like it's gonna take everyone to get to where we're hopefully all gonna go one day. Is like them pearly gates. It's like everyone's ticket is punched about what time your flight leaves. You know what I mean? So like, unfortunately, Charlie's was a little sooner. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, whether you disagree with somebody's opinions, I feel like it should never lead to hate or violence, right? So it's like, because you wear red shoes, I'm like, oh man, like, I hate red shoes. It should never, you know what I mean? It should never get to that. To that
Do you really
point
hate
where
red
it's-
shoes?
Nah, I don't hate red shoes, but it should never get to that point. And I get it. Like his topics were a lot more controversial, but like you said, like, you know what I mean? It's gonna take. When people stop talking violence, like violence happens, and it happens in marriages, it happens in relationships, it happens at work. When business is going bad and your partner is not talking to you, you know what I mean? Like, what we in business for?
Yeah.
Same thing with wifey, same thing with your husband, like not y'all husbands, but the people watching, like your husbands, you know what I mean? Like your significant others. You know what I mean? When you stop talking to God, you know what I mean? Violence happens when you subtract. You know what I mean? So it's like when you subtract that love aspect of it, all of it is out the window, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Chaos happens, and yeah, like sure, like I don't know what that man, Tyler Robinson, I'm gonna say his name, was going through, but I can guarantee you it was nothing big enough to take another man's life away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it's a tough subject because like I'm not gonna sit there and say like I'm heartbroken, but I am saddened by the loss because I don't think no one should be murdered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think everyone should be able to live out their time.
Yeah,
That's due.
especially because he was speaking about his beliefs. And Larry, on our last show, you spoke about you got the right to believe what you want to believe. You know what I'm saying? And
You do.
and here's somebody that's speaking about it and doing it in a courageous way, you know, putting it out there for everyone to see and everything. So for him to be taken out for that, I find that crazy. I find that so crazy because, you know, let's say our group, what we do, Dad's Doing It group, someone may not like us, you know, does that mean we should get taken out? Absolutely
Some
not.
deranged
Yeah.
single mother or something.
That
right?
the mom's doing it.
He's dead.
the mom's doing it podcast.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they out here envious.
Yeah.
But I also think and believe that at the end of the day, so to kind of bring it back just a little bit farther, like the only reason why I said it was kind of like closer to like race baiting was because I think media knew what the black community would have felt about this guy losing his life. The only thing,
All right, let's. All right.
Wait.
Let's ask the black community.
No, wait.
How do you feel?
Which is fine, but I want to
I'm
get
gonna
this.
go first.
I'm gonna get this off, and then
Go ahead.
right. So it's like they. It's all good. They, meaning the Democratic Party, that I believe that is in fully control of social media, just because I got my social media taken away from me for Trump, a Trump post, completely erased, completely deleted off of Facebook, just because I didn't believe Donald Trump was racist.
And they removed the post over that?
Removed my post, removed my entire Facebook.
Facebook did, or
Facebook.
someone reported you?
Facebook did. Like my like not just the post. It was my entire Facebook that I had for like 14, 15 years.
Wow.
Gone.
You got one now?
I have one now.
Oh.
But Dad's photos gone. Dad's messages are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
High school pictures are gone.
I would say that would probably be
So,
the most hurtful thing.
So it's like, like just because of my opinion, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're playing the hush game, you know what I mean, over there. And it's like, we're not promoting that stuff. And as soon like God forbid, like if Trump didn't look at that screen, right? It would have been a whole mockery of, you know what I mean, like kind of Charli Kirk on 10. So like that's where I kind of believe. That's why I believe that the Democratic Party does have a big part of what is promoted and pushed on social media.
If Trump didn't look at what screen?
So he says the statistics unit off to his right, and he turned and looked. That's when the bullet whizzed by and hit him in the ear. That screen.
That was theatrics.
Yeah. Huh?
That was theatrics.
I'm just saying.
Because then they got low and somebody was down there.
That's
and
Larry.
put that
That's
thing
Larry
right
being.
on his
Nah,
head.
that's
That's
good.
Larry being a conspiracy theorist.
Nah.
I'm not gonna lie. I love a good conspiracy. I want to hear it all.
So,
I want to get it all
so
out.
that's why I take a stance of like they have that kind of under control and on the wraps. So they're not going to push media that's going to make them look bad, right? That's why your algorithms is nothing but, hey, Charli Kirk is racist. You know what I mean? He's putting them in.
Straight up.
But those are posts that are getting fed to you.
Yeah, I didn't go looking. I'm not searching up Charli Kirk and Charli Kirk. I'm not searching his name and trying to watch who is this guy, who, you know what I mean? Like, I just see things that are shared, you know, amongst us in groups or whatever the case may have it. But the stuff that I have seen the little shorts I have seen, like I said, might be the pieces.
Racist.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pieces that y'all don't agree with. You
Yeah.
know, like one of the other pieces he was talking about was like, why do black dudes like he was talking about like the music? We don't make music talking about marriage and this, that, and you know what I mean? But black people aren't the only one that's doing that.
They've been around the world.
For one, for two, who's buying all the stuff? Because let's be real, back in the day, when you had to go buy CDs and you had to go buy, black people weren't the ones that was making all these rappers all that money. It was the white kids in the suburbs that was making them all their money, going to the shows, doing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm conflicted by some of his statements because he says them with such conviction, but they're not cutting
Yeah.
it
So
dry. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
if
That's
you want to
just-
go that route, it's fine.
that's just
I'll go there with you.
those things.
So like earlier, he said 13% of the population is African American or black, right? And then
Off of the census. That's what we started to talk before. Off
but
of the
and then
census.
50% of the crimes are caused.
Okay, now, hold on.
But wait. Let me tie it in all together.
What?
Then, right? He said that statement, and then 15 minutes pass, and then you sit there and say, "Yeah, I disagree with championing murders, not even in rap music, but that's a YN
Right.
thing.
That's a fact.
That's a YN thing,
That's a fact.
right? So you know firsthand that the black community, the younger generation, is living and doing those things inside of the music. So is he that far off to sit there and speak that judgment, whether if he was black, Hindu, white, you know what I mean? Like, does it matter who the messenger is as long as the message is accurate?
No, because it's not only black people doing it, is what I'm saying. And it's not only
I don't think that's
it's
the
not
statement
only
either.
it's not only black people subscribing to it. Most importantly.
But you know who's the YNs we're talking about.
back to
Who the YNs are we
back to
talking
the
about?
13%. The 13% of black people or whatever is the 13% of people who filled out the consensus, right? The other people that are in jail, I doubt that they're filling those out. So how
But they
are
know
you
who's in
getting-
jail.
I'm not
how
even
are you-
sure.
How are you getting? Yeah, you know, because you take the thing of the people in jail,
Mhm.
but the people who you knock on your door and they have you registered.
Yeah,
and stuff,
census.
That's a
I
census.
don't,
My bad.
I don't think the information about the 13% and the
So where are the
55%,
stats
I
coming
think that came from some FBI stats, I believe, based off of arrests
Still.
and everything. So it had nothing to do with a census, if my memory serves me correctly, which I'm not 100% certain. But that was just like that was something that a lot of people used to misunderstand
So
and take in a
13% or
negative.
15% of the people that they run into that are African American or black.
Yeah, so basically it was of the nation's population,
That are
13% of it.
incarcerated?
No, in general, 13% of it is black, and then what they're saying of that 13%, 55% of that 13%, it is committing crime. So that's where they say that's where the statistics coming from that makes it appear that there's a lot of crime in black neighborhoods right now. In a grander scheme, if you looked at who does more crime in the nation in general, obviously it's going to be the bigger population.
majority,
That's the
yeah.
majority of the population,
Yeah.
which is considered to be white people. But what they're saying is, let's say white people is 60% of the population, or whatever it might be. What they're saying is 60% of that population, only, maybe 30%. So per capita, it appears that white people have less crime. That 30% is probably much larger than the 55% of the black community.
The 55% just to dumb it down, 1,000 people,
Yeah.
right? And then that 30% is 3,000 people. So
Yeah.
by the data, less white people are committing crimes, but more of them are committing them. If that makes sense.
Correct.
Fuck,
Per capita.
excuse me.
Yeah. It's
30% of white people are committing crimes, and only was it 55% of
of
13%?
Correct. It's
And
per capita.
30% of
It's per capita.
60%?
Yeah, it's per capita.
What?
So
Am I missing something?
it's kind of like manipulating words, kind of in a way. But if you're looking at it per capita, it's like the statistics make
Because you're
sense.
saying a lot of these little bit of people are doing things versus,
Yes.
but I still it's 30% of 60%. That's still way more.
More. Correct.
It's a larger number of people committing crimes.
Like
but
you said, I think it's playing with words.
It's a lower percentage of
No, it
that
ain't.
number. Yes, it is.
No, it's more white people.
So do you think?
Well, in total.
Texas commits more crimes than Rhode Island?
I don't know. Everybody commits crimes.
But-
I don't break nothing down. Everybody commits crime for real though. Everybody commits crimes.
We're not saying people don't
I've
commit crime,
jaywalked
but
before.
you know what I mean.
Everybody commits crimes. It's just for some reason black people get caught more.
I just want to
Why
put
is
out
that?
there that we do not commit crimes. We are law-abiding citizens.
Yes, I'm seconding that.
Law abiding.
Abiding. I
You
apologize.
said law abiding.
You couldn't even say senses.
Yeah, I did mess that up.
But I just think like, where we're getting at with that point was
Yo, wrap it up, B.
Yep. Nah. So when you were sitting there saying like the YNs, it's like we already know who you're talking about when you're saying that's promoting and living those crimes.
He's trying to
But I
say
said the
that
YNs is out here dissing the dead. That's what I said.
yeah, but he's trying to say your
he's
YN. You're talking about the black community, right? Am I wrong?
Anybody could be a YN.
Yeah.
I mean, at this
That's
point,
younger than me.
at this point,
But I was talking about the dissing in the music. Yeah, that's what I was talking
yeah.
about.
So that
I wasn't talking about nothing else.
crimes.
Trying to drag
So
me on.
I said that because of the crime rate, but so we already know who you were talking about when you said who does that stuff, the YNs, the black community. So they also know that who's going to eat that up the most is the black community, because it's already like in our culture. It's leaking into our culture as of late. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was an older thing, but like from the beefs down in Jacksonville to Chicago, you hear it more and more often in the music, in today's music, right? Of course, you had Shot 'Em Up and all those legendary like songs like those where they were like talking trash and like
Were you
saying
talking
he was gonna cause
specifically,
harm.
like beef songs and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what they are. It's like their beef
I mean,
songs, like
I
But
think
you
that's
gotta understand. You gotta understand the essence of hip hop and beef songs. At least before, now they seem to be more personal and stuff. But beef songs was just like a boxing match, or
Battle rap.
it's the essence of the
It's-
sport. You know
okay.
what I'm saying? Nobody's supposed to get hurt. Maybe your feelings. You know what I'm saying? But like, other than that, you're supposed to come back with your art. It's art for art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
you know,
Now it's getting to the point where it's like public threats. You see what I'm saying? It's just not cool. It's not cool to listen to. It's not cool to just. It's real sad.
so
to
how come
look
the
online.
YNs think it's cool then?
It's real sad. I don't know. That's what I'm getting to. It's real sad to look online and see that a lot of these young dudes are not even reaching their mid-20s. That is so crazy. A lot of them are talented. A lot of good stuff. Like, you have two halves of your life. You have the early years, the first half, and you have the second half. You know what I'm saying? Over the hill. A lot of good things still happen for people in the second half. Quincy Jones produced Thriller, one of the probably greatest albums ever, when he was 50 or a little bit older than 50. You see what I'm saying? So if he'd have got killed at 25, popping all this junk and all of that, we wouldn't never got one of the greatest albums. You know what I'm saying? We're never gonna get maybe another great album because all these young dudes is out here doing this stupidness and they're not living to their full potential, and they're not living past mid-20s. It's I don't know, man. That's not music.
yeah.
That's not music, and that's not our culture. I don't care how many songs,
So,
I don't care how many.
Where did
That's just not
that?
the way.
Because, I mean, whether you disagree or
I
agree
don't
with
know.
it or not, but
I
it
don't
bled
know.
into the culture.
I can't answer that because where we are here, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it's not like that.
I want to say
Nah, it's not
the
like
social media aspect of
that. I'm
everything
talking
is.
about real life.
No, it's same.
Dudes out
So like,
there
I had a young
killing each other and stuff.
I had a
It's
young
not
kid
like
I
that.
used to coach was followed, stopped.
I'm not saying things don't happen and you know what I'm saying, but you don't see it like how you see it happening in Chicago or Florida or you know somebody
But
get
we
killed.
can't. So
You can be sure that by the end of probably Wednesday, somebody else gonna get killed, and then
which is
That's just-
unfortunate,
it's-
right?
Yeah, that's sad.
So
man.
like places like Chicago, like I said, Jacksonville. I'm sure Memphis goes through its ups and downs, and I'm sure
everywhere
places,
goes through it.
every place has that place
Right.
where it's like,
Right.
yeah, we can't be here for too long because
Right.
like we know what goes down here, right?
Yeah.
So like, when do we stop blaming, like as a black guy, right, black man?
Yeah.
When do like my peers? How can I help my peers understand like we can't blame white America for us taking us out? Because at the end, at the end of the day,
for us taking us out.
yeah. So like they believe like, oh, it's systemic and
All right, and
It's
I don't
saying
want to
it's-
seem like that wild, crazy dude, but I just gonna give an answer for the question. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's just an answer. Though. I think not knowing who we are. You feel me? I was thinking about this the other day too. I think not knowing who we are. Black Americans, we don't know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We really don't. Who's to blame for that?
who is the blame?
I would say white America.
So white America.
You got to think, black people got stripped, they got taken, they got stripped of their everything.
Stripped of what though?
First of all, they got taken from
History.
their.
Taken or sold?
They got sold and taken because you can't bring them over here without taking them. Okay, so
But
I'm just saying they got. They
like
got
I don't want to
taken.
seem like that black guy, and I understand like
I know, but listen,
I
let me
know,
finish. You
I
gotta
know, my fault.
let me finish.
I understand that
How you gonna ask something?
America. wait. I understand that,
I'm
right?
going there with it. I just want, because for your answer.
The white guys came over and shipped us all over this.
Whatever they got sold. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that black people don't know where they come from. They don't. So if it did happen like this, right, where it wasn't thousands of slaves that came, it was only so many slaves that came, right, and then slowly but surely they got all of black Americans into thinking that they are slaves. They came from slaves. You know what I'm saying? And then over the years now, their children's children for generations are thinking that they came from slaves. I thought I came from a slave. I thought that's what we came from. When I sat with
I didn't send you that picture, right?
when I
I
sat
thought I
with,
seen you in that textbook.
when I sat with my grandmother made it known that we didn't come from slaves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't.
That's
But
crazy
the
stuff.
point I'm trying to make is black people don't know who they are. You can ask a Chinese person, where do your roots come from? They're gonna tell you some real interesting stuff. There's a lot of black Americans in this country that cannot answer that question like that. You know what I'm saying? And from there, it's just no unity. There's nothing. It's like we are all for selves. Every man for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
So I
That's
get
just to answer your
I know
question. That's
I get
all.
what you're saying, but then I feel like on the other side of the coin, right? You have communities like the Hmong community. They have no country of their own, right? But they're so integrated and like locked in together, where they're hand in hand, where they're riding and dying with their own.
Like religion now?
Hmong?
Yeah. Isn't that
No,
a religion?
I think that's a people.
Yeah. It's-
I didn't know they didn't have
They,
a land.
they live in the mountains in Asia.
But that's where they're from.
Just no, they didn't just spawn there, obviously, but
That's where they
from
migrated.
somewhere.
They had to have migrated there.
But yeah, and then they migrated to America to make better lives for themselves, right? So that's why I don't think America's racist. But because they're succeeding community, they're building. Right.
Oh,
so
hold
like,
on.
can't
Just because
say that.
you just said that I don't think America is racist.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't think America is racist as far as like the people in it? America is just the name for the land. Of course, America's not racist. It's land.
I think people in America are racist.
Yeah, people are racist.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
So like we talked,
America
we said
was
this and
built-
agreed on
it was
this.
Built off of racism. So how can it not be? It's just history. See, what the thing is, the generation now, and I'm not putting you into this generation, but the generation now is like, it happened so long ago, who cares? But it's the foundation that today stands on. So somebody has to care. I'm not saying
we
that we
allowed-
gotta go back and now we're gonna sit here and punish everybody for, no, but just,
That's what you're saying.
no, I'm not saying that.
No, but
I'm saying just don't have knowledge. That's all.
no. So what you're saying is I think people are saying the opposite. I think we have a lot of, and it might sound again controversial, but like I think there's a lot of racist Black Americans going around in today's society, city to city, and I don't think that's okay in the slightest bit.
Racist against who?
Others, whether they're white, Chinese, right? Like, so like a big person that I disagree with almost everything that he talks about is Dr. Umar.
I like Dr. Umar too.
I
don't
almost
know
disagree
what.
with
You
everything.
gotta try to decipher what's for the cameras and what's not. I think a lot of stuff is not for. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, it's cool. You know, people can love who they want to love. That's the stuff that I get out of Dr. Umar stuff, is that he be mad that, you know, Black dudes is with white girls and white girls is, Black girls is with white dudes.
That stuff
We're all human.
Yeah, I agree
know what
with
I'm
that.
saying?
But when he starts speaking about, like, you know, the schools and certain statistics, it's like, he sounds like he's coming from a very intelligent point of view. But again, I agree. I don't think it matters. Like when he does say, like, my Black brothers and my Black sisters, why you with this other race or whatever and everything. I don't necessarily.
I
agree
gotta
with
find
any
the
of that
video of
either.
like where he sat there and said like there's no love like a Black mother's love. You know what I mean? And
But that's his opinion because he has a Black mother.
I have a white mom, so he's trying to invalidate my
So
white mother's love.
Now
You know what I mean? Like,
now you can beg to differ.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's all that is.
I would say there's no.
I don't know what a Black mother's love feel like. I have no idea.
A mother's
My
love is a
Puerto
mother's
Rican.
love.
huh?
A mother's love is a mother's love. I don't
Right.
think ethnicity has anything to do with it.
So when he's again, there's nothing wrong with being. I think you be both. I think you can be pro-Black, and I think you can also be like pro-love. Like
Black people's been wronged by everybody. You could hear plenty of stories. They've been wronged by police officers, teachers, any at job interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it makes a difference now, but back in the day, my name is Larry, right? And we used to joke like, yeah, my mother named me Larry, so I get the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It looks, back then, Larry looks a lot better than Tyrone. Larry would get the job before Tyrone. Why is that? You know what I mean? It's just the way it's been for Black people for so long. And it still is like that. Just because it may not seem, or the right side or the left side, I don't know what side is making it look peachy for Black people, it's still not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Certain things like we talked about the Black Lives Matter. Who said Black lives don't matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start there, and then we can figure out if the matter thing even needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
But who said Black lives don't matter? We know we've been mistreated, we've been what people call oppressed, whatever, but we're still pushing.
Seth, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you work with a lot of
I work with a lot of kids, yeah.
high school, middle school.
Probably
bit of
from
both?
fifth to 12th grade.
So when topics like this come up amongst them, and maybe they're talking about amongst themselves, or maybe they're talking to you, how do you communicate with them about these topics? Or do you feel it's your place to even communicate with them about these topics?
So again, working with kids, they ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna sit there and say, like, I do and don't address the conversation, right? I give them, and I kind of make this kind of clear, especially to like the older kids, like the seniors that I work with and the juniors. It's like I tell them from like day one of them meeting me, is like, hey, like, I do have opinions, right, that may differ from your opinions and what your belief is, but I'm always down to have a conversation if you want to.
Yeah.
If you can't handle it, let me know and I'll stop talking, right? So it's for instance, there was she graduated from our high school, and she took it personal because I asked her about something regarding witchcraft, and a kid that was sitting close by kind of like laughed at it, and she took it to offense and asked me to like, let's not talk about it right now. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Just because I back then I was baby steps of my faith and religion, so it's like I'm aware of my surroundings, and I know when kids want to have a serious conversation, they do come to me and ask me, and it's kind of why I excel in those areas of mediation, where it's like I'm not against having those conversations. I'm not going to sit there and talk to a fifth grader the same way I'm going to talk to a senior. You know what I mean? Like, so I know when to differentiate and assess the scene I'm in. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm around fifth graders and sixth, seventh, eighth graders, like, I'm not gonna have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a senior that's graduating, I'm down to have a political conversation, or just hey, like, what do you think about Christianity? I'm gonna tell you. Or what do you think about the Muslim race, not race, religion.
Muslim race.
Religion, yeah. So like I do have, and I let them know it's always my opinion. Like, I'm not here to change your mind. You know what I mean? Like a child asked me, what do you feel about the Charli Kirk? I'm like, I'm not really gonna tell you about it, because it was a sophomore. You know what I mean? But I was like, and she's like, well, he was racist. So I'm like, I don't agree with that statement, but you know what I mean? What did you watch on him? You know what I mean? Just picking their mind, let them kind of speak, and I seen a clip.
Yeah,
we can't get a story from a clip. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's really happening in that clip. Like, and all I said to them was, hey, I would just watch a couple of his podcasts. You know what I mean? And then you take your judgment from there.
Yeah.
If you still think he's racist by the end of the podcast, that's your own belief. But I'll never sit there and tell a kid how to think and what to think. You know what I mean? Because they're very impressionable at that age. You know what I mean? And like, if I want to push anything onto a kid, it's to lead with love. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do with all the kids I come encounter with.
Yeah, good, well said. And Larry, how about you? I know earlier you mentioned, from dealing with your daughter, you wanted to make sure, that she respected the dead, essentially, because I don't remember the exact terminology you used, but, you also have a very young child, and then you also have your daughter who's college age. So how do you approach those two different conversations?
My son, I haven't had to have that talk with him.
My president is black.
Yeah, I haven't had to have that conversation with him. Like I said, I think that's more a mature conversation,
Yeah, absolutely.
having that conversation with an 8, 9-year-old just wouldn't make sense.
So how would you address, let's say, because these kids, man, they learn so fast and they pick up on things so quickly. What if your son did come to you with a question about what happened to Charlie? Yeah.
I mean, then I would just explain it. You know what I mean? I would just explain it. I don't really hold no punches or.
Yeah.
I might sugarcoat a little bit, but it's like a glazed donut. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like an M&M or nothing.
Yeah.
So I try to just explain it to him as PG as I can. You know what I mean? And just explain or shine a light that, you know, you shouldn't be harmed for your thoughts, for your opinions.
Yeah.
You know? And when you see things like this, don't be scared to express yourself still. Because I know there's going to be, or there probably is, a lot of fear amongst the people like him that go around to these universities and they have these debates and all of that stuff. So, just, you know, when you see things like this, to the young kids, don't be scared to express yourself, you know? Respectfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Respectfully. I think it's just tough. It's like a game of telephone. You know what I'm saying? We whisper something all around the room. By the time it comes back, it's something different.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's kind of like what the internet is a little bit. You got this video that's been watched 1,000,000 times. Do you think it's been comprehended the same way 1,000,000 times?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have people thinking he's a racist. You have, and the shorts right now are
King.
outdoing the whole video. You know what I mean? So it's tough because a lot of people, if you ask anybody why they hate him so bad or why are you glad he's dead, they're gonna give you the cookie cut social media answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people aren't even educated about this guy or anything like that. I'm not, but I'm at least up front and say, hey, I don't know nothing about the guy. The 2 shorts I seen must have fell in line with you guys. Some things I don't agree with. You know what I mean?
I think a big part of it too is like
at the end of the day,
perception, like you were saying.
Freedom of speech, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we try not to curse on the show, but for the people who don't know, for the quote unquote YNs, you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The extremes of both sides, I think what's really killing this, what's really dividing us as a nation, right? So it's like the extreme right isn't good and the extreme left isn't good, right? And then you have just extremes out here running as their politicians, and I think that's where some of the lines do get blurred for both sides. You know what I mean? And this is me just being honest. Like, do I believe everything that the Republican side's saying? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Do I believe anything that the Democratic side is saying? I don't believe not a word that it's but
I'm gonna give you a life lesson from uncle to nephew. You don't believe nothing the politician says. I don't care what side it's on.
Yeah.
You a politician?
I'm just saying.
I don't believe you.
I just aligned it. But what I'm saying, what I'm ultimately saying is like the extremes is what's kind of like really separating us, and it sucks. And it's like I don't think every white person is racist. I don't think every black person is racist. I don't think every Asian person, you know what I mean, is racist. Like,
oh no, they definitely are. But I'm messing around.
But like just to end what I was gonna say.
Like, man, that's a very offensive show.
Larry's still traumatized from that scene in Menace to Society.
He got traumas. He hears the bell go, and he's like, "Oh man, where's she at? Hurry up and buy." But I just don't think, you know what I mean. Like, I don't think the people should just like lead with emotions either. You know what I mean? Leave emotions out of it. And, like, what's true? You know what I mean? And like, look at it like that. Like, is this okay? Is this like right by, in my opinion, God. You know what I mean? Is this
What
right
about the people who don't believe in God? I wish Thomas was here, because this would have went like a whole nother hour.
That's fine. What I would tell him is just repent. You know what I mean?
Repent to who?
Huh?
From his point of view, repent to who?
Well, what I would do is I pray for him and hope like God reveals himself to him. You know what I mean? So like whether, you know what I mean, like whether he thinks that, you know what I mean, and again, I'm not gonna talk.
I was just
I love
joking.
Thomas.
I was
I
just
love
joking.
Thomas, by the way.
So I was
Like,
joking.
me and Thomas grew up together, and we have no bad blood, but
Yeah. No, I was just kidding.
yeah. So like, but what I was ultimately saying is just like, just again, just love is the answer. You know what I mean? God ultimately is the answer.
All right.
But
So you guys ready for closing remarks?
Closing remarks. You go first.
No, I'll end it. I want to hear one of you guys go.
what I would say is to close out, just repent, lead with love. You know what I mean, and let God take the wheel of your car and let Him drive.
All right, Larry. How about you?
My closing remarks is I still don't know who Charli Kirk is.
I'll send you a video.
I just a short.
Well, I'm gonna send Larry a bunch of. The inbox will be full.
Yeah, please don't. But no, I mean, listen, prayers go out to his family and his kids and everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's senseless for that to happen like that. It's unfortunate for anybody to get slain like that in front of his family or in front of their family. I mean, I guess just people just keep doing you, and don't be afraid to speak out still, you know.
And for me, guys, I'd say, you know, what happened to Charli Kirk was a tragedy. And, you know, as a father, you know, I know his kid's got to grow up without a father now. And his wife is now a widow. And I would hate for my children to have to, you know, grow up without me in their lives, or a father figure in their lives, or any children for that sake. So that, and it was a terrible thing that occurred. But I'm gonna be aligned with Cedric here, that if you just put love first and lead with love, and you know, obviously put some prayers out there, you know, pray to the Creator, you know, God and everything, and you put love first, you're not gonna go wrong, man. Everything's gonna fall in place, and more things need to be talked about to avoid an act of violence. And I think if we did actually take the time to talk things out, and maybe if everyone could just agree to disagree, we'd be in a much better place. But with that, thank you guys. Appreciate the conversation. It's always a good talk.